I'm very concerned that due to the whole dual career situation, which will even further increase, that we don't have the flexibility in our workforce that we need for the future.
Dual careers and permits are becoming increasingly important because more and more of our top talent is married to partners who also are employed.
It's an absolute must in the 21st century for the spouses to move around and to work in pretty much any country in the world without restrictions.
Countries which have simpler visa working requirements for spouses are definitely more attractive.
As countries open themselves up for foreign talent, that is the best conduit of knowledge.
There's a logical business reason for a company to be very active in the support of the Permit Foundation.
Mobile expatriate staff is extremely important for international companies. They are, in fact, the glue of the business. They ensure that we have the cross-fertilization across borders, that knowledge is transferred, and even more importantly, that trust is built.
For dual career couples, it's important that both of us can benefit from an international assignment.
My husband was already working in England and I was still in Germany.
We have no children, so I find it really, really important to keep myself occupied and busy and intellectually fulfilled.
If there are restrictions with regards to whether my partner could find work or not in another country, then I think that, chances are I would not be as ready to relocate to that place.
The old paradigm of the happy family, which allowed itself to be chased around the world, that hardly exists anymore.
For the first 3 years, I was unable to work because of work permit restrictions. It changed after 3 years, which permitted me to go back to work. Moving to Nigeria is work permit restrictions that have kept me from working.
We see now many situations where our female employee goes overseas and the male partner has to find a job.
As we take on more and more women, women proportionately are in a situation of having more dual career partnerships.
In this generation, we're all looking for international opportunities and global exposure. And we want to do it jointly, where you have a working spouse and not to have one person sacrifice his or her career.
A normal employer will always try to get the best person for the job. Now, if this happens to be the partner of the expatriate, if that is the best person, that means that most is added to the economy of the country.
I certainly know that my husband wouldn't want me to be bored just because he's got a nice job.
There's a kind of fear in governments that if they give an opportunity for the partner to work as well, that you take away a job from the local market which could be done by a national person. I really think that's wrong.
I would actually ask country governments to look at dual career couples as part of the talent pool.
An employee is much more than the individual. And in making policy decisions, perhaps they should consider policies that will take into account the rest of the family, as in the spouse and the children. Because those contribute one way or another to the performance of the individual on the job.
Failed assignments are usually because the partner is unhappy and doesn't feel satisfied with the assignment. So anything that we can do to promote happiness within the assignment and their own experience, I think will eventually give the companies a payback in terms of the employees' productivity.
It's a good idea if different companies, international companies, work together in case partners are looking for a job abroad due to their husband's assignment and can offer jobs maybe for the partner, and not only in one company but as well in others.
The most important thing is to be proactive and not to wait until spouses are coming into your office upset and unhappy and ready to leave that assignment and go back to their home country.
The knowledge migrant scheme we're now having in the Netherlands, the expatriate spouse work permits that we're hearing about most recently in France, schemes like that on a timely basis to see how they work and how they improve conditions, not just for the spouses, but for the country as well.
International companies wanting to give their staff an overseas assignment, then their spouses actually would come with their skills and qualifications as well, and will be able to contribute in the country's economy and improving the diversity of the country as well.
It's quite easy to go to another country within the European Union to work, and I think the governments did a lot recent years to progress.
It is in their great interest to relax these permit conditions for partners of expatriates, because that is the only way they attract the best.
It's precisely because the UK allows expatriate spouses to have dependent work permits that we made a joint decision to relocate to here.
Expatriates are not going to be there forever. They're only going to be there for a number of years. So what's the harm in it?
I'm really encouraged by companies working together in this area to provide support for spouses. Permits is a wonderful example. The benefits to companies who are supporting spouses are that not only do they get a spouse who's happy, but they get an employee who's happy and more productive, and generally the whole family has a really good feeling and experience on this expatriate assignment, and be happy to stay the full term and perhaps even extend if needed.
The opportunity so far has benefited both my wife and I in helping us acquire international exposure and cultural awareness.
International experience will definitely help me to find a job that I would really like to do, because international experience is really appreciated on the Russian market now.
When I go back to Cameroon after several years of developing my skills and working around the world, I'm also able to contribute to the economy of Cameroon. So everybody benefits in the end.
I feel that what I've done abroad has certainly helped me, and because otherwise they wouldn't have re-employed me in a position which is more senior than the one I had when I left.
We support the Permits Foundation because we believe it's a great cause. We think through joining forces we can achieve what no single company could on its own.
I think the Permits Foundation is a wonderful idea. I think it's a wonderful initiative of companies coming together to draw awareness in a very global way to the issue of work permits and the problems that spouses face around the world.
International mobility of labor and knowledge, I think, is basically a win-win situation. So every time that we can take a block away, that is, for instance, to facilitate the permits, you make a positive step to create more win-win situations.